Welcome everybody, this is the Glacier Gaming YouTube channel, and this is going to be a little different video than I've done. I have a few gaming videos out there, but I haven't done any just sit and talk to the camera, and this is actually for an event by Deep Pocket Monster. If you don't know who that is, feel free to go check him out. He actually was one of the people that was reached out to by Leonhart with the giving away the original base set of Pokemon cards, and he is actually doing a series of videos where he's planning on recording a video with somebody where just showing being thankful with Pokemon as well. And little background on me is I have loved Pokemon ever since I was a kid with Red and Blue. I always thought that Pokemon is the reason why I'm interested in video games, is why the reason I'm interested in art. And it's really the reason I wanted to join YouTube. I wanted to start a YouTube channel for the longest time. Pokemon was what I wanted to cover, but I eventually branched out and started doing some other video games, and I just never jumped in and took that dive into Pokemon. So I always thought, you know, when I start Pokemon YouTube channel, I am going to do just a simple top 10 list to get my foot in the door, put my foot in the water, however you want to phrase it. And this is that video. In order to do the thankful for Pokemon, thankful in general for Deep Pocket Monster, I'm going to give you a top 10 ghost Pokemon video. And that was always what I was originally going to do because I love ghost and poison type Pokemon. Got my Gengar shirt to represent. And so that's what we're going to give you today. So this is a top 10 ghost type Pokemon video. So I really hope you enjoy. Let's get into it. Starting at number 10, I'm going with Decidueye. Decidueye, I have a plushie of Decidueye here. My drawing is covering it right now, but we have a plushie of Decidueye right there. I love owls in general, and I always, when I play things like Dungeons and Dragons or just any sort of RPG, I like being the ranger, the archer, somebody that uses bow and arrow. So when Decidueye came out, it was an owl that shot bow and arrow. I knew I was immediately in love. I picked Rowlet for my first playthrough of Sun and Moon, and Ultra Sun and Moon I did a second Rowlet just because, you know, I love Rowlet. I would have to say it's one of my favorite starters, and in general just an awesome concept. The hood. So originally the middle evolution stage does have like a hood, kind of like covers their hair, or covers their face with their hair, kind of like a punky. But I feel like the hood is more of a sign of, yes, I'm receding like a ranger, but it's also that sign of like confidence, like I'm receded, but it's more stealth over hiding. And I just love Decidueye, so that's why Decidueye made number 10 on my list. Both owls, archery, Pokemon, grass starter, all of the above. Number 9 on our list, we actually have Polteageist, one of the new Pokemon from Sword and Shield. The biggest reason why I love Polteageist, first of all, I like to draw, whether it's base sketches that I used to do when I was at work, or if it's, you know, the first time I did a duo sketch with a friend. Can't really see it very well. But yeah, I love to draw. I did these on my wall, and I love just artwork, and part of that is because of Pokemon, but mainly because I used to try to come up with my own types of Pokemon. And one of the things I came up with, this was before Sword and Shield came out, was this here. This is a teapot Pokemon that I thought would be great, and that it would have a couple variations where the male would be red with purple and the female would be purple with red. And I thought it would be a Steel Psychic or Fairy Psychic. Obviously, Polteageist ended up being Ghost. I really like the idea of Polteageist, but I love the idea of the fact that I thought of something, a teapot Pokemon, and it actually went into the game. Yes, it wasn't my idea. Yes, they didn't take exactly what I thought of. I thought it would be something where Scald would be a very popular move on it, because, you know, teapot. But that's why I like Polteageist. When I saw it, I was like, oh, I feel a personal connection to that Pokemon. Yeah, it's fun in competitive battling with Shell Smash and very popular. However, that's not why I'm a fan of it. I do like some competitive battling. However, Polteageist, in general, I just feel a personal connection. No other reason. I feel like I thought of a Pokemon just like that, and it makes me realize that there are people at Pokemon that work there at Game Freak that have similar thoughts as me, and I just feel very personal. So that's why Polteageist is number 9 on our list. At number 8 on our list is purely for design. I love the design of this Pokemon. I love the just decision for why they gave it certain abilities. I love how it is portrayed in the anime. That's Drifblim. First of all, in the Diamond and Pearl anime, it comes in as the gym leader's Pokemon, the ghost type gym leader's Pokemon. Almost seems unbeatable with her hypnosis strategy. While that is cool in itself, Drifblim as a hot air balloon that is a ghost that, you know, Drifloon has in its Pokédex entry. It's kind of creepy and takes children away. Drifblim, when I stare at it, reminds me of the the hot air filled looks of Dumbo and Winnie the Pooh from back in the day, and it gives me that a little bit of nostalgia, but also just a very cool design. The purple looks really nice with a typical purple for a ghost type, but overall, a hot air balloon Pokemon, ghost type, just to me personally, one of the better simplistic man-made designed Pokemon. So it's based off a man-made object, but brought into the Pokemon world in a way that it makes complete sense, and that's why I fell in love with it. So that's what puts it at that spot on the list for us. Sticking with the man-made objects on our list, we're gonna go with number 7 here, Chandelure. Chandelure, one is a big part is because of competitive battling, because as a Choice Scarf sweeper, that was the first time I really saw somebody use a sweeper that I thought, wow, that's really interesting and very cool. So I ended up thinking Chandelure is really why I got even interested in competitive battling, but also because the shiny is perfect. It's exactly what you would imagine a shiny to be, where it makes sense color-wise, makes sense from an evolution standpoint of Pokemon-wise, and it's a very pleasing to the eye color choice. So I don't want to jump too much into detail there and just badger on. That is why Chandelure makes this spot on our list. Next up on our list is number 6. I actually went with a Phantump. I do tend to really like the pre-evolution of Pokemon. A lot of the time I like it more than the final evolution, purely from a design standpoint, because when it comes to the evolution, it's very cool, very, from a scientific standpoint, the idea of the evolution is just makes sense. It's very, very cool. However, I tend to just love the designs of the lower level, the initial stages, and I also love to use them in my playthroughs, which is why unfortunately Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl without the Eviolite makes it a little bit more difficult, but it adds a little bit of a challenge that's pretty fun. But yeah, anyway, Phantump is here. Biggest reason why I love Phantump is clearly the shiny. The white shinies are one of the most popular shinies in Pokemon for all of the fans, but Phantumps makes total sense. It looks like dead plant life. So it goes from it's already, you know, it's a ghost type, but then it looks even more decayed and moved on, and it really fits what you're looking for in the design of a Pokemon. Love that. That's the biggest reason. Next reason is because the concept of a stump, a chop tree, dead life also is a perfect concept and design. I love the idea of Phantump overall as a whole. It's just a brilliant idea, and I really love the fact that they chose to do this. I want them to continue doing this with Pokemon, and in my opinion, they already do that in a great job, where they make the concept, no matter where it comes from, make sense in a real life standpoint and in the Pokemon world and typing. Love it. The last reason why I like Phantump is its appearance in the anime. Season 19, episode 23, it is called Making Friends and Influencing Villains. There is our horde of Phantump. That's also where we see a shiny in the show, which obviously always adds to popularity. And I just loved it. When I saw that episode, I thought, wow, this is just a very cool Pokemon, and it just added to why I loved it. I don't want to bore you, go too far into detail, so that is why Phantump makes that point on our list. Number 5 is from Sun and Moon. I know Sun and Moon was not received very well, and it's kind of because it was attacked so much and kind of made less popular, it's gaining in popularity as of late. Well, Palossand was one of the Pokemon that was added, which is just a sand castle that's ghost. However, the shiny is black, which is very cool and looks like black sand, like a black sand beach. Adds to the real life world, which again, from a concept and design, when you're able to tie in the real world, you're able to tie in how people can relate to the Pokemon, how people can relate to the show. And, you know, where there's black sand beaches in the world, you can imagine that that's where a Palossand would be. Which, my biggest love of Pokemon is, I wish Pokemon were real. I wish when somebody in the real world now hit a certain age, they can make the decision to start raising Pokemon, battling Pokemon, breeding Pokemon, whatever they want. I really wish Pokemon are real. So when I look at Pokemon, I think, where would that exist in the real world? So when I think Palossand, I obviously think of beaches, but when you add a shiny and have a black sand beach, and black sand beaches being rarer in the real world just adds such a good connection and concept to the Pokemon that makes it really perfect. The last reason why I like Palossand is in the episode 22 in the Sun and Moon anime, Wrong Every Time, Palossand actually is able to control the minds of people, and at one point is draining Ash's life energy when he's inside of a Palossand, which is scary in itself, kind of an adult thing for the anime, which was nice to see when they went with a younger style animation and concept for the season, or for that part of the series. It was nice to see that darker element of the show, and Palossand was able to absorb all the sand around it, similar to its shore up ability, and it was really able to help you visualize what certain Pokemon could do in a more realistic outside of the game setting. And it made Palossand just that much more interesting to me, and the idea of catching a Palossand to me seemed like a challenge in itself. They always make dragon Pokemon seem like they'd be a challenge to train and a challenge to catch, especially in the real world, and a challenge to raise. Ghost Pokemon to me feel that way as well, and especially a Palossand that can absorb the sand around it and potentially overcome you, and almost has an evil side to it. It truly grasps what a Ghost Pokemon to me should appeal to and seem like. And the idea of so many sand castles on the beach being abandoned, if you want to say that, by their children that did make them, makes you think of that's why a Ghost Pokemon chose to inhabit that sandcastle. It's been abandoned. It can feel that loss that you would assume, that grief that a Ghost Pokemon has. And I just fell in love with Palossand the second it came out, and that's why it made that spot on the list. Let's move on. At number 4 is Dhelmise. When Dhelmise came out, I thought, that's a steel type. No way, that's not a steel type. It's probably steel water, steel grass, just based on how it looked. Found out it was ghost grass and thought it was so cool, because it's just the idea of a anchor falling off of a ship, getting caught up in seaweed, and having a ghost take over it, becomes a Pokemon, something along those lines, is just an awesome concept. It's how a man-made Pokemon, both Chandelure and now Dhelmise, it's how a man-made object really should be taken. The concept is there, the idea of the ghost inhabiting it, the whole evolution. Obviously Dhelmise does evolve, but the whole evolution in general of Pokemon. The ghost evolved to take over this anchor, and now is just this powerhouse that can, you know, run the area that it inhabits, because it is supposed to be a territorial Pokemon. Is just a wonderful, wonderful concept for a Pokemon. Ghost types often have an evil nature to them, and the idea of an anchor being able to kind of be a menace in the sea to other boats is just a perfect, perfect concept. And not to mention the shiny, that bright red shiny of Dhelmise is just mwah, perfect, amazing. I love it. I know there are other YouTubers like Pimp Knight out there that have mentioned that they love it. I am right there with them. It is a wonderful shiny, great concept of a Pokemon, and really more Pokemon should take over for man-made object Pokemon should really follow the concept of Pokemon like Dhelmise, Chandelure, and the like. That's why it's on that spot. Let's move on to the next one. So we're into the top 3. I will say that there is only one Gen 1 Pokemon. Part of that is because I don't want to be a Gen 1er and just take all that into consideration. Yes, I have a Gengar shirt on, but and that was the original Pokemon games that I played, but I'm trying not to favor them too hard, because I do want to be unbiased when I judge what I think over time have been my top 10 favorites. So this one is not one of the Gen 1, but there will be Gen 1 soon. Number 3 is Sableye. When Sableye came into the show and into the games, first of all, I really wanted it to evolve. Even though it doesn't, I still love it. Mega Evolution aside. The gems on its eyes are menacing, but also beautiful. The teeth are terrifying, but the purple color and the brightness is kind of appealing and welcoming. The prankster ability added to it just fits the Pokemon's concept wonderfully. And honestly, when I think of a ghost type Pokemon, if you were, especially as like a little kid to an adult, you close your eyes, the first thing you think of this little demon ghost looking thing. And I feel like Sableye is what you imagine, or at least what I imagine when I think of a ghost type. So that's why Sableye is this high on the list for me. I know a lot of people aren't a fan of it, especially competitive. It can be very annoying for people in competitive, and it's kind of like a troll, tanky, stall Pokemon, like its ability. And, you know, I get that, but from a design concept, the shiny, I'm hit and miss. Some days I love it, some days I hate it. But just the plain purple with the sharp teeth, the evil nature to it, and in the Pokédex entry, it eats Carbink, eats another Pokemon. They've had other Pokemon eat other Pokemon in the Pokédex entries and described in the show before. But that was one of those ones where I thought about it and I thought, that makes total sense. This makes this Pokemon feel like a true predator, and yet it's going after shiny objects, which removes away from that like true evil nature, and it really just grasps, like has a hard grasp on me when it comes to love of this Pokemon, idea, concept, evolution, everything. It is just a wonderful Pokemon. That's why Sableye makes the top 3 for me. Let me know what you think. Feel free in the comments, however you'd like. Let me know if you think Sableye deserves a top 3 spot, because I definitely do, and I argue that it could be higher. Number 2, this is where the Gen 1 Pokemon love comes in for me. I couldn't decide between Ghastly and Haunter. I ended up going with Ghastly. Ghastly is one of the first shiny Pokemon I ever got. I love the blue color, and I think I really wish Gengar would keep that, and I think Gengar would be higher for me in terms of love if it didn't have such a pale shiny and could keep that blue that Ghastly gets. But Ghastly truly, again, is another, if you think of a ghost type, that's what you think of. In Season 20, Season 1, Episode 20, Ghosts of Maiden's Peak, Ghastly shows off the power of what they originally... I know that Pokemon and the makers didn't necessarily think it was going to explode to the way it did, and have this whole detailed lore and everything that goes into it. But Ghastly really felt overpowered and incredibly strong. And because it could turn into Venusaur, combine Blastoise and Venusaur, it could turn into these household objects, turn into humans. It really seemed like Ghost Pokemon had no limits to their power, and it could speak English. I know there are tons of Pokemon theories out there that deal with this specific Ghastly, and Pokemon that can talk in general, and how they might be a little bit more advanced than other Pokemon, such as a Lapras in the show, and Mewtwo, and Meowth in this specific Ghastly. But that Pokemon in that episode kind of making me genuinely scared of that Pokemon, but also seeing how strong a Ghost Pokemon could be, really helped me fall in love with specifically Ghost Pokemon, but absolutely Ghastly. Not to mention just the shiny, and in competitive, it's really not that bad. Its special attack is still quite high. You can throw on a Choice Scarf or something in there. I actually have a level 100 shiny Ghastly on my Sword and Shield playthrough that I did, that I still use to this day when I'm trying to go out and try to knock up to those 500 knockouts to increase my shiny odds for shiny hunting. So I love Ghastly. I will always love Ghastly. It was also the first Pokemon I shiny hunted in Let's Go. So it's just a wonderful Pokemon that I don't think I'll ever stop loving. It's why it was the first one that I decided to paint. And yeah, that's why Ghastly's top 2 for me. Really hard. I originally had it at number 1. But this next Pokemon that I'll mention, I don't think I can find a fault in it. So now that I mentioned that, let's go with number 1. Number 1 on our list, my list, whatever you want to say, Dusclops. So Dusclops is just, so it's a middle evolution, wasn't always a middle evolution, but is now a middle evolution. From a concept standpoint, from a ghost Pokemon standpoint, it embodies evilness, but it also embodies, you know, the potential of what a ghost Pokemon turned tame or friend can truly be. In the anime, it shows up from Timmy, the Masked Phantom, in the Disaster of Disguise. That is Season 7, Episode 21. Timmy has a Dusclops. We haven't seen it before, and this is when contests have become a thing, and this is when in Pokemon, I thought, if I ever, when I was a kid, I always wanted to be a trainer, obviously, if Pokemon were real. This is the first time I thought, when we saw contests, maybe I'd be interested in contest battling. And Timmy's Dusclops uses Will-O-Wisp in such a beautiful way with, I believe it's Confusion, And I fell absolutely in love with Dusclops as a Pokemon, and fell more in love with Pokemon. The more I think about Dusclops, it's actually why my Twitter avatar is a Dusclops. The more I think about Dusclops as a Pokemon, the more I fall in love with it. Yes, it has a little round body and that sort of thing. I have a little round body, it's fine. It has a little round body and it looks almost mummy-esque, yes, but it's not. And it has just this one peering eye that draws you in. With the idea of ghost Pokemon, there's one that kind of draws you in and then takes you away. And I believe it truly embodies that. Its hands look enlarged at all times. And in the anime, the Will-O-Wisp that it uses is just magical, scary, and just overall, it is an absolutely beautiful Pokemon. Its shiny is like this rusty red color, which I think just adds to the fear, almost like its bandages are blood-stained. It's a truly terrifying, beautiful, and lovely Pokemon all at one time. And it's really why it's number 1 on my list and possibly one of my favorite Pokemon ever. I don't want to mess this up, so I'm going to read this to you, but here's one of my favorite Pokédex entries for Dusclops. It seeks drifting will-o'-the-wisps and sucks them into its body. What happens inside is a mystery. And that's just perfect for a Pokemon. It seeks something out, which Will-O-Wisps in history and mythology are spirit guides. In some descriptions, they take you to your demise. In other descriptions, they take you to a lost loved one. So most of the time it is around death, but this Dusclops is seeking them out. And when it absorbs the Will-O-Wisp, you don't know what happens to it. In other versions, it says that it takes people in and you get absorbed into a nothingness, a black hole. Also terrifying. But Timmy's in The Masked Phantom is just his friend, loved, and just I believe that's the first time we saw the move Shadow Punch. There's just so many things when I think of a million things in Pokemon, like moves like Shadow Punch and physical ghost type attackers, I think Dusclops. I think of good shinies, I think Dusclops. I think of some of my favorite concepts in Pokemon like contests, I think Dusclops because of Timmy. I think of best Pokédex entries, I think Dusclops for me. And so that's why Dusclops hits number 1 on my list. That's why I will always love ghost Pokemon, almost purely because of Dusclops. I really hope that maybe I helped convert you if you didn't like Dusclops before. Maybe you like Dusknoir a little bit better. That's fine. This is all opinion-based, so whether you think I'm right, wrong, that's okay. You can tell me I'm wrong, you can tell me I'm right. I don't mind. This is how I feel. These are my top 10, and I truly love Dusclops. Again, this video was the idea, it was put out there by Deep Pocket Monster. This is my addition, this is my submission for that. This is just a reminder to be thankful for Pokemon. I'm thankful for Pokemon every day. I'm thankful for a lot of things. I'm thankful for those that I love. I'm thankful for organizations like NAMI. As somebody who does struggle with mental health myself, organizations like NAMI do help show me that there are people out there that care. You know, yes, you have your loved ones, your friends, maybe you don't. Maybe you have somebody in your life, though, that is there for you. Appreciate them, and if you have somebody in life you might think struggles with mental health, honestly, a hello, how are you doing can be the difference between a good day and a bad day for them. So if you can, just reach out. If you know a friend, just say hello to them, ask them how they're doing, and that'll make a difference in the world, which is my goal, is just to make a positive difference in this world, and I hope that one day I can do that in every way I possibly can. Again, be thankful for everything, especially for me. I love Pokemon, for getting me into art, into YouTube, into video games, and it's really just a huge influence on my entire life. With that though, again, go out and make a difference in the world. You look great today, by the way, and stay chill. GG.